Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. I just recently, a couple days ago, saw this post on the FNATIC subreddit where apparently CARZZY did an interview in Czech, which is obviously not a language that many of us speak and not content that many of us would get to absorb or observe or take in or gain any information from or whatever. So I did want to go over this post because I do think there are some interesting points, but also just wanted to be able to help spread some League of Legends content to some people who maybe wouldn't have otherwise been able to even learn about it, in case any of you guys think any parts of this are interesting or whatever. So this guy did a nice little summary on the FNATIC subreddit, but obviously it's not like they get a ton of views or anything. This has like 89 upvotes. So again, doing my part to help spread it around. A few days ago, CARZZY had an interview in Czech. I just watched it now and thought I would share a few points from it here regarding FNATIC. CARZZY was considering the offer from FNATIC. So, I don't know how FNATIC fans feel about that. Obviously, if you'd rather have CARZZY or Reckless, if you would have just kept Upset or whatever, but there was a world where maybe CARZZY was going to end up on FNATIC, and that apparently he really considered their offer. Mostly because he liked the idea of playing with Humanoid again. However, he was worried that if he underperformed in FNATIC, it could have a horrible impact on his career. Ultimately, he chose Mad Lions because he trusts the management and believes he'll feel comfortable there enough to perform at his best, which is actually kind of interesting because if you remember when CARZZY had originally left Mad Lions the first time, there was kind of the weird stuff going on with one of the guys higher up in Mad Lions saying that, CARZZY was like a fraud or CARZZY sucked and he wanted Flockhead to be playing and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that guy's still involved with Mad Lions or whatever. I assume probably not, but I don't know exactly what happened, but it's just interesting that he trusts their management and feels comfortable going back there when things were just a little bit weird last time that he was with the Mad Lions. I don't really remember the entire story, but I know it was something, along those lines. So he chose Mad because he trusts management, believes he'll feel comfortable there to perform at his best. For 2023, he views Koi, G2, XL, and FNATIC as the strongest teams, but says it will be a coin flip with FNATIC, I'm assuming, between Mad Lions and FNATIC. And again, also interesting that, he views these as the top teams, and he had an opportunity to go to FNATIC, but chose to go to Mad Lions instead, even if he thinks Mad Lions probably a weaker team on paper, but he thinks it's setting himself up for a better position for success, which again, you're making career decisions. You do have to keep that in mind, but it's kind of an interesting thing to note. But also, it's not just the split, it's also going forward in the future as well. You can't be completely short-sighted, but I don't know. Thought that was maybe something to make note of. Regarding Humanoid, CARZZY mentions that Humanoid tends to underperform during regular seasons. No surprise, which is kind of funny. They both would like to play with each other if the conditions are right in the future, so something to keep an eye on. In future off seasons that Humanoid and CARZZY might be pairing up or might try to pair up again. He believes Humanoid is the best EU mid laner, but really needs the right people around him in order to perform at his best. He also jokes about Humanoid not being the biggest fan of scrimming, which is kind of funny. Regarding Hill, saying he's excited about playing with Hilly. He believes Hilly is still motivated to perform at the top, and after the few games they had together, he is convinced Hilly is the best support he's ever played with, and also thinks Hilly's game knowledge is insane. The best support I could have wished for. Regarding the Mad Lions in 2023, their scrims in Madrid were terrible, but it was all very lighthearted, so he doesn't place much importance on it. He expects Mad to be a mid-tier team during the first split. And then regarding last year's Vitality team, which is obviously something a lot of people want to hear about because it was quite the disaster, probably for multiple reasons. He believes that Vitality should have never been labeled as a super team in the first place, which is funny, and I think a lot of members of the community would agree. He speaks kindly of his former teammates for the most part, but says that both Perks and Alfari didn't look that good in NA. Selfmade got kicked out of FNATIC, again, just kind of saying why they shouldn't be a super team. Him and Lebrov weren't that impressive together in the past. Ultimately, he was surprised by the hype their team was surrounded by. He doesn't speak well about Vitality management and says that Perks felt more like their coach than their actual coach, which again, there's another player being pretty critical of Mephisto, which Selfmade was, very outwardly critical of Mephisto as well. So I don't think that this would totally shock anyone either, and I think the fans and community as a whole are pretty critical of Mephisto as well, but kind of funny. He mentioned that after the spring split, they were not able to continue with Selfmade and found a replacement in Haru, but the change did not matter much because he felt like nothing really worked well in the team. The relationships between the players were not that great, and he wasn't having fun playing with the team. So again, just some things that CARZZY said recently, some stuff about FNATIC, some stuff about Mad Lions, some stuff about the past with Vitality that I did want to share with you guys. I think it's all kind of interesting, and there's some juicy tidbits and spicy moments in there as well. I think CARZZY is definitely a fun and interesting guy with a lot of personality that I don't ever mind hearing from or hearing about. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one, but until then.